Hey guys, so welcome back to Amazon Labs once again. In today's session, we are going to perform your returns or refund reconciliation exercise. Now, if you're already selling on Amazon, if you're doing many sales every single day, every single week, every single month, you know, no matter how good quality product we sell, towards the end of the day or end of the month, there is a small percentage which comes back in the form of returns. Now, why do you receive these returns from end customers? Now, if that's the question, there are primarily two factors. The first one is a controllable factor and the second one is a non-controllable factor. Now, what are your controllable factors? Controllable factors are nothing but, let's assume you have got a very bad quality product. In that case, it is very natural that customers will end up giving back that product. Let's say if you're doing merchant fulfillment and if your quality of packaging is not great, in that case also you may create a negative impression and you may end up receiving multiple products back in the form of refunds or returns. Now, what are your non-controllable factors? Non-controllable factors are nothing but, let's say if there are any changes in your customer preferences, or if there are any issues with Amazon delivering your product to that particular pin code or location. Right, so these are all non-controllable factors. Now, here is the thing: irrespective of the type of factor, ultimately we know as business owners, as and whenever you get a return, so you're technically at loss, or we as sellers, we are at loss. Now, if that is so, it is very important for us to understand and to make sure that this percentage is always lower. Right, now, even if this number is lower, it is very important for us to understand what percentage or how many goods are we receiving in the form of returns, and we need to further study. Let's say if customers have returned X number of products, we need to understand how many of those units have actually reached Amazon FBA warehouse. That's your first checkpoint. Now, let's say if some Y number of units have reached Amazon FBA warehouse, you need to understand how many of these units are in sellable condition. If they are in sellable condition, Amazon will naturally try to sell that product to some other customer. Right? If they are not in sellable condition, it is expected that Amazon will automatically reimburse you. Now, what about cases where customers have returned the product but Amazon has not received the product, nor Amazon has also not reimbursed you any money? In these cases, you need to keep a check on your data points, see if there are any opportunities for you to spot, and if so, you are going to initiate a case log and request Amazon Seller Central folks to investigate on those order IDs and then reimburse you. Now, how to perform this entire exercise? It's a very quick 5 or 10 minute activity. Now, to be very honest, this is the exact same thing any of the software tools perform or does. I mean, there are so many tools who claim that they will make Amazon pay you money. Now, what is that they're doing? There is no rocket science. They're just doing a simple Excel checks, and we are going to perform one such check today. The first and foremost thing is that you are going to require your data range reports. Right, now, data range reports is one area where you get to see all your orders, all your transaction, how much were you paid, what is cost breakup. You get to see every damn thing. Now, the first thing, you just log on to your Seller Central, go to your reports. Under reports, you will have something called as payments. Now, within payments, you will see something called as data range reports. Now, come over here, select generate report. Now, when you do that, you will be able to define a timeline. Just choose maybe last 30 days or last 60 days. Just choose a custom timeline and then download the data. Now, one key point here, when you're on this page, you see there are two sections. One is electronics and the other one is cash on delivery. At this point in time, don't get confused. It doesn't matter which option you choose, because when you download the report, you will get to see a unified report. Now, what is a unified report? Unified report is nothing but you have a combination of both electronic transactions as well as cash on delivery transactions. So it doesn't matter whether you choose electronic transactions or cash on delivery transactions. Just make sure once you are here on data range reports, just generate a report, download the report. This is going to be a first report. From this report, you're going to understand how many orders were returned by customers. Right, now, as I told you, Now you also need to know out of those orders how many of them have actually reached Amazon FBA warehouse, right? If you really want to know that data, then you need to come to one more section, which is your fulfillment section. In order to get to this section, what I've done is I've logged on to Seller Central. I went to reports. Within reports there is something called as fulfillment. Now when I get to fulfillment, now here under customer concessions I see something called as FBA customer returns, which is nothing but Amazon is telling us how many goods they have received from end users. Let's say if your end customer, let's say if 10 products were returned by end users, now from here you get to see how many of those 10 units were received by Amazon. Maybe 5 or maybe 10, that number can vary, but for now you also download this report, also download this replacement reports. Now just make a note of all the order IDs. That's the only expectation from you at this stage. In your second report, you're going to download FBA customer returns. From here you're once again going to choose the time frame, and then you're going to make a note of all the order IDs. This is your second report, which will help you understand how many goods were returned or received by Amazon. You also need one more report, which is reimbursement reports. You need this report because let's say if Amazon has not received your product, which means you expect Amazon to reimburse you, right? Now you also want to know whether Amazon has actually reimbursed you or not. If you really want to understand the data, you need this report, which is called reimbursement reports. Now you just come here and then once again choose a particular time frame and then download the data. Now once you have all these three sheets, this is all you need to cross check, verify and check if there are any opportunities for you to claim for any reimbursements. Now the first and foremost thing is that I downloaded my data range reports. Now when I downloaded my data, this is exactly what I get to view. Now I want this data to be much more clear and concise, so I'll just delete the first 9 rows. Now when I delete the first 9 rows, this is exactly what I get to view, right? Now in this report, I'm just trying to cleanse it. Now I have the details of all the orders, all the types. Now I'm not really worried about everything. All that I am interested in is returns or refunds. Now in order to get to that data, within type, in this drop down I will just choose refunds, right? So I can choose refunds here. Now when I choose refunds, I get to see all the order IDs. Now these are the order IDs over a particular time frame where customers have returned the products, or they applied for a refund, which means they are asking, or which also signifies that they have returned the product. Now I see there are about how many 31 orders. Now the first thing that I want to do is I want to copy these order IDs into a separate sheet, right? So what I'll do is I'll just copy that data into a separate sheet, right? So what I'll do, right, so this is exactly what I have done. I have copied it. I'm color coding it in black so that it is much more easier for you to understand. So these 4 columns is what we copied from data range reports. Now we get to see the time, date I have added it later. I also get to see what is the type, which is refund. We are looking at refund. Now here you can see there are 31 orders as discussed earlier. Now what I want to know, while there are 31 orders, the first check I want to do is how many of these 31 orders have reached Amazon FBA warehouse, because that is what we want to know. Customers have returned 31 orders or 31 products. Out of these 31, how many of them reached Amazon FBA warehouse? That should be your next question. To answer this question, you need to do a simple cross check with your customer returns report. Now customer returns report, I already spoke about it. Now I spoke about it, right? So from here, this is where you're going to download the data and you're going to capture, make a note of all those order IDs. Now I just put up a small section called as customer return reports. Now here I made a note of all the order IDs and I also put a small identifier, which means yes. Now I'll just apply a simple VLOOKUP and I'll try to understand how many of them were received by Amazon, right? So if I do a simple VLOOKUP formula, right, I get to see, right, so there are about 4 orders which were returned by customers and they were also received by Amazon. Now what's the expectation in this case? In this case you would assume that these products are in fulfillable condition, right? Fulfillable condition is nothing but Amazon will repack them and send it to another new customer, right? In case if they are not in a sellable condition, Amazon will automatically reimburse you. In case if they have reimbursed you, then you will get to see that particular order ID in your reimbursement reports. I hope this section is clear. Now these are the cases. This is how you need to deal with cases, order IDs where goods were received by Amazon FBA warehouse. Now what about these ones, the ones which are in red? You are saying customers have returned the product, but these goods have not reached Amazon FBA warehouse, right? I'll say FBA warehouse. So these goods were not received by Amazon FBA warehouse. Now if that is so, you need to understand if Amazon has reimbursed you or not. In order to check if a reimbursement, if I received any reimbursement, I'll once again cross check this data. This time I want to cross check this data with my reimbursement report, because that is where I get to see if Amazon has paid me any money or not, right? Now when I perform this check, once again, when I applied a simple VLOOKUP formula, I see there are certain cases where Amazon has already reimbursed me, isn't it? You see the ones which are in green, you see I did not receive the product in FBA warehouse, however I got my reimbursement, which means Amazon lost the product, and hence they also reimbursed me. So I'm going to hide these cells so that let's focus on the ones which are left right now. Now these are the areas where your product was returned by customer. You neither received this product in FBA warehouse nor you got any reimbursement. Now what to do about these orders? Now here is the thing, Amazon has got a 45-day window in order to action these requests, right? Now 45 days window, as in now you need to check if you surpass that particular date. Now that is the exact same reason why I also mentioned date in here. Now I want to check what is my threshold, right? So this product was returned on 1st of October. I want to wait for 45 days of time. Now if I really have to wait for 45 days of time, it is 15th of November, right? This is all in November, and now you know that we have already surpassed this particular timeline, and we still see we did not receive any reimbursement, nor we did not find any product in our FBA warehouse. Now what you're going to do is you're going to make a note of all these order IDs, make sure there are no duplicates, and then initiate a case log with Amazon. Tell them, hey guys, see these particular products were returned on so and so date. I do not see these goods in FBA warehouse, right, in my customer returns reports, nor I could find any reimbursement against these orders. I request you to investigate and pay me back, right? So this is how you're going to reach out to Amazon, and then they will investigate and they will pay you back your money. As simple as that. So this is how you're going to perform your returns or refund reconciliation activity. Now most of this activity is automated. Amazon will do it by themselves. However, there could be a couple of errors, so it's also a best practice that you now and then check. I would say wait for 45 to 60 days window. Don't wait this long. For example, in this case, you see November and all, I mean 1 month has, more than 1.5 months has passed. So do not wait that long. Within a 45 to 60 day time window, please do check your data and then request Amazon to look into this. Right, I hope you enjoyed this video and you learned something new. If that is the case, just give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I hope this did add value, and also if you feel so, just share it with your friends. I once again thank you for sparing your time and watching this recording. Thank you all for your support, and I also wish you all a very happy and blessed new year. Thank you all.